everyone. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. We're going to be talking about our trip from Origins. We've already done a couple of videos about the haul, so the different games that we picked up, and we also talked about our 5 most anticipated games, but there are some other things that we kind of forgot to mention and that we kind of wanted to bring up, and that we're super excited about.
Yeah, I think this will be our final Origins 2022 video.
Correct.
And we want to go over the kind of the pros and the cons of the con.
Yeah, actually talk about the con itself, as well as talking about maybe some of the vendors that we got to meet with and maybe we didn't get to talk about, and then some other stuff like that. So that's going to be fun. So this con, it was the first time that we've ever been on the media badges, which was kind of exciting.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was fun. So this con was very, very different for us compared to other cons we've been into the past, just because the focus kind of shifted, right?
Yeah.
So before, Origins was very peaceful pace for us.
Laid back.
Laid back because, you know, we just walked the hall, demoed when we wanted to demo. Pretty much, I just demo everything. I just stop and demo it, and good, bad, and different. Randy was like, "We're never going to get anywhere." Like, you stop everywhere and listen to everyone's spiel. I'm like,
just to point out, I'm not a shopper. I don't care whether it's something I like or something I don't.
That's
like.
not true. You create your list. Like,
I pre-shop. I make my list of these are the things I'm specifically looking to check for. And that's what I hit.
And this is how we miss stuff.
I do drive-by. If that's okay. I managed to get a lot of stuff. It's not like I'm in a dearth of stuff.
That's true. We have plenty of stuff. So that was very different for us in the fact that we had a schedule. And it was a pretty rigorous schedule. I'm glad you dedicated hours for lunch and dinner. But it was really, really a lot of fun because we did learn a whole lot more about not only the current games, but games that were coming up. So that was actually very exciting, at least for me, that kind of aspect. So the first day, we ended up talking, you actually, Friday, it was mostly you by yourself.
Right.
Because I had to actually work.
Yeah. So we were planning on only showing up after work on Friday.
Correct.
But due to my company deciding to close down the office where we couldn't go in, we decided we might as well go work from the hotel.
Yes, and my work was also very, very nice to me.
So,
but I actually had to, it was remote work.
We were both remote worked from the hotel. That was my first con of this con. Was we decided to both work in the hotel, but we didn't coordinate our schedules, and we both had conference calls simultaneously. And while my wife had this nice cushy couch in the hotel room that had a desk built into it.
Yeah, it was very nice.
As soon as we got in the hotel, she's like, "Oh, that's where I'm going to work."
Now, okay, and to be fair, there is another table with 2 different chairs. Like, that was totally a workable place.
In the same room.
Correct.
Where if we were both on the call, as we were, at the same time,
both
as
leading
we were.
leading the call.
Both leading a call. It was going to cause a conflict. So one of us had to take one for the team and decide to find another location. So I started out with a standing area on top of the luggage rack. I didn't stand on the luggage rack. I stood at the luggage rack with my laptop set up.
Standing desk style.
Yes. So that was my first attempt. And as the call started, the air vent right above me decided to kick in louder than the call. So I had to find an alternative location. And I'll post a picture of my alternative location. That's where I ended up taking my call, in the bathroom.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it is what it is.
It wasn't so bad until somebody kicked me out and I was evicted from my office.
I told you how to break. You should have not been in there during the break. No, but, we got to go a day early. So,
yes.
So the driving had already been done, so we get to enjoy more of the con.
Mm-hmm.
So Friday, though, you were kind of by yourself. You did meet up with a few vendors on Friday. Who did you end up meeting with on Friday?
Well, I met up specifically. I had an agenda to meet with Tim's and Cosmos. They told me they were not going to be there beyond Friday afternoon. So we didn't think we were going to be able to hook up because the original plan we weren't going to arrive until Friday night late. So when I found out we were going to go up a day early, I went ahead and reached out to them, and they were able to meet up with me last minute. I met up. They didn't have a booth there, so I felt a little strange because we were meeting kind of over in the ticket booth area next to this odd statue that they have of a giant head, and it was kind of like a secret meeting over there. So, but super friendly. They walked me through their catalog of games and pointed out ones that were highlights that they really wanted to accentuate that are coming. So when I met with them, they brought up the Exit series. That's, of course, one of their big series. They've got advent calendars that are releasing. I think they're probably currently coming out. I saw they were like in the near future, if not already out. This is the 5-year anniversary of the Exit series, they said, which it looked like they released originally in 2016, which would have made 2021 the anniversary, but I don't know. They said it was their 5-year. And as a result, they're going back to some of the locations. So one of the big ones they had was Return to the Abandoned Cabin, because that's kind of, I think, one of their biggest ones. The Abandoned Cabin was one of their biggest Exits games. They're also doing a series of puzzles that are combined with the game. So you do the escape room and solve a puzzle. So they're doing a Nightfall Manor one, which is going to be a combined game and puzzle. And then the last thing they brought up that was kind of, I mean, they had brought up several that were already out. And so, I'm leaving those out. But the other one that caught my attention was My Islands, which is the sequel to My City, which we've, when we reviewed that one, I know we played it. I don't know if we reviewed it for the channel. I think we did review it. But
I believe you.
Yeah, My Islands is a follow-up to that. So that was their slate of games that were coming up that caught my eye. I was hoping they would have like a follow-up sequel for Anno 1800, but they didn't. I definitely told them if they get anything in that genre or line, because that was
we'll be there.
An awesome game.
So that was pretty much the only person you met with.
That was
Friday.
The only scheduled event.
Oh, okay.
I did some drive-bys at different booths, exchanged business cards, because we had a slate of ones that we didn't really have scheduled that we just said stop by our booth, So I have, ran into several of those, like Colossal Games. I stopped by and talked with them about doing some videos with their games. And several different vendors, all of which were super helpful and cooperative. So you might be seeing some of the games coming from those. I don't know. You never know after the event how many people are going to remember you. But they took our business cards, we took some of theirs, and
so hopefully we'll see something from that. So the next one is the following morning we were supposed to arrive at 9:30 to demo a game. The problem is the vendor hall doesn't open until 10. So we had to
bribe security to let us in. I showed a little leg. That didn't seem to work.
Then I showed my leg, and I was playing as Misty. So
I got us in. So they let us go back to the booth, and we were able to demo Lunar Rush, which was your number one.
Yes. Listen, guys. I'm very excited about the game. I'm just gonna say that, like, it hit all my stuff. Like, I think it's great. If you saw the top 5 video, you get more information around it. But I'm still super excited. I'm so glad we bribed the guards to get through. It was well worth the little bit of leg I had to show. Well, there was a lot of leg that I had to show, and mainly due to the costume. But I think it was definitely worth it. It was pretty awesome. So now they had another one there.
Omicron Protocol was,
and that's the one that's coming up sooner.
It looked like it was further in the development process. I don't know which one is going to be first. There was an ad on Facebook for Lunar Rush today that I went ahead and posted to keep me up and keep me informed as it's coming out.
Yeah.
But Omicron, they had actually some final production copies there that they gave away. They didn't have any for sale, but they did have a demo of that kind of front and foremost in their booth.
Yeah.
So I figure that one's probably coming out first.
Yeah, and that one's more of a miniature-based adventure game.
And we don't play those kind of games that often. So we were more interested in Lunar Rush, and we knew we were in a rush, and we were going to get to play both. So we chose Lunar Rush.
And I think we made the right choice for us. So then we did end up meeting up with Lucky Duck Games.
Right. And we actually met two people there because they had one that was talking about their new application for Destinies.
So that's the other thing. We'll put the information either in the photo or down below. They're having a contest for this app. So it's super exciting. Destinies, you can watch a review, is they're wanting people to create storylines through their app so other people can play.
Yeah.
And
well, it was a super cool idea. I mean, the thing is obviously with a game like that, you're limited based on the tiles and the characters and the stories that are already included. So once it's kind of a one and done. You can play it again, but you're pretty much going to know what's going to happen. So to have like this now creative sandbox where anybody can go out and write their own story.
And you could grab other people's stories, so you don't have to create your own if you're not.
You can use the tiles again and change the story of it. You can create your own characters. They have a printable PDF file that you can download with a new QR code that you can use to replace the characters in the game. And I thought that was super cool. Miranda's trying to talk me into writing one. So.
Oh my gosh, guys, it would be hilarious. It would be hilarious because Randy writes murder mysteries, if you guys don't know, and the satire in them is truly priceless. And so I am really hoping I can get him to do it. So guys, bug him. Say like, hey, when are you going to do the Destiny story creation? Just bug the crap out of him, please, for me. No, so I am super excited about that. I think that's a great thing for Destinies because it was so good. It was done so well. So be able to get more life out of that game is fantastic. Mm-hmm. So the other thing that we ended up talking to a separate person about the upcoming games. Now, It's a Wonderful Kingdom came up. We've already reviewed that one because we kickstarted it. You could see the review. And then
that's going to be their big Gen Con release.
Yes, that's their big Gen Con release.
It's not out in stores yet, so I don't believe, but it's going to be the one they promote at Gen Con. Right.
And then the other one we got to learn about is so they've got 2 kids games. They're working on their third, and the third one is called Turtle Splash. And we actually got to demo that game, and it is a dexterity game in the fact that you're sliding this token on the board and you've got to hit it the right area to be able to, and then it has a memory game kind of attached. The artwork was adorable. Mm-hmm. It was so cute, and it was still a little fun. I mean, I do think it is for the younger kids. It
had a crocodile feel to it because you're sliding the little turtle down a little slide, and there's a hole in the middle. And I can tell you, we sucked at it. But the person who works at Lucky Duck, she was like getting bullseyes every time.
Obviously, because she's played it, right? She demoed it all weekend. No, but it was absolutely cute. It's definitely, and this I out of my top 5 too. Definitely, if you have a kid, definitely check that out. Yeah. This one will probably be added in our kids series when we do the review. Then I'm dying to know because she kind of let out the bag that there's something coming up and that she was super excited, but she couldn't say anything. Mm-hmm. And that it should be coming out this week for the press release. So as soon as we find out, we will tell you because I'm dying to know what it was.
They were on the verge of closing a deal. They couldn't talk about it. Sounds super cool, but she was eager to talk but couldn't. And
well, she said she already signed it, but she can't do it until the press release is So we're watching. We're waiting. Lucky Duck Games, let us know. All right. So afterward, now across the way, we ended up stopping. I know you didn't really get to talk to him, but then we found about the Earth Project. But before that, we looked at.
This is Inside Up Games.
Up Games.
This is where the summit was at, and it got your eyes focused on again City Builder, which we ended up picking up.
Right. And so, because we were waiting on Lucky Duck Games, and they were right across this way. And so we did a very, very short demo of the City Builder, which is basically Carcassonne on steroids. So we're going to see how that one plays out. But then right next to it was Earth, where we got to learn about Earth too. And that's already been kickstarted and pushed through, but not been released yet.
Yep, so I pre-ordered that as soon as we left. Actually, we hadn't left yet. I was still there when I pre-ordered.
Yeah, so that one, so we did get to hit up there. The people were really, really wonderful. They're the same company that does the summit. So that's that was really nice to get to meet them. Now, the next place that we got to meet was the same people who did Creature Comforts, which is
KTBG, or Kids Table Board Games, I believe is what it stands for.
Yeah, so they did Creature Comforts, and they talked about, we got to we got, not to demo, it was more of explained about the new Creature Comfort series called Maple Valley.
No, it's not a series.
He said that
it's the next one in the Creature Comfort series.
Correct. It's the next one in the series, Maple Valley, where Creature Comforts was worker placement. This one's more pickup and delivery. Mm-hmm. So it'll be a little bit different, but the same feel because it's the same artist and everything. So that one, I'm kind of excited to see how that one works out. It'll be nice to get a good pickup delivery game because I feel like I like the mechanic, but not a lot of people do it well. So I really hope that this shines. And of course, component quality is going to be just as good as Creature Comforts from what they told us. So I'm super excited to see what that looks like.
They also had a new game, Power Plants, there that was beautiful. The art, the colors were beautiful. It's a tile laying game, and it's got, I don't know if you would call it engine building per se, but it's got basically your plants are...
Yeah,
they give you different abilities when you play them. You get to choose between two different abilities that they have. Yeah,
so it's a tile placement / abstract game, I feel like, because you're placing down these tiles, and that either you can trigger a super ability on the tile you place or a bunch of minor that are surrounding
them. Yeah.
So that's interesting to see, but it kind of reminds me of an abstract game just because you're just laying tiles and they looks only slightly, the color's different, so you know what the different powers are, but...
That one I've got on the back burner to pick up whenever it comes out retail, I think. I was on the fence about just grabbing it right there, but we bought so many and I was already kind of broke, so...
Yes, guys.
I get paid tomorrow, and I got like $20 in my bank account until I get paid tomorrow because of Origins.
Oh my gosh, I'm not that bad, but I'm pretty darn close. So, for reals. All right, so afterwards, we walked around. We did find a lot of cool artwork. So this is something I always have fun at cons checking out the authors that are there, as well as the artists, because I love to support the other nerds, that are out there and the wonderful stuff that they do. And I was super excited because this one lady, brilliant idea, took her art and put it on bags. And the bags were actually really nice. They had a zipper and everything. So I got one of those. And we did buy a couple of pieces of actual art to hang up in our house. So I always have a lot of fun at cons looking at the different artwork. There's still one piece of artwork that I see at every con that I'm like, I really just need to get. It's on my list. But yeah, so that's a lot of fun. I did only end up picking up one book this go around because the book people, there weren't as many as there normally are, like Gen Con or stuff like that. So I only ended up picking up one book. And then, so that was fun. But then, so we ate dinner. We came back.
Oh, wait, don't skip over dinner. So our hotel, which was another of the cons of this con, the hotel we stayed at, one was...
That's not Friday night, that was Saturday night.
Well, we stayed at the same hotel the
entire time. Right. But your dinner is a Saturday night thing. We're not at Saturday night yet.
We've been going through Saturday all day.
Oh, I can't think.
Anyway, Friday night when we checked in, she noticed that there was this steakhouse right next to our hotel.
Right, well, and he always complains that we never get good food at con. Like, he always complains, I want nice food, and... somehow we always pick up the wrong places.
There's a difference between nice food and nice food.
Okay. So anyway, I see the place. I'm like, just go make reservations because Saturday's going to be crazy busy. So we should just get reservations. And he goes...
And this was Jeff Ruby's Steakhouse. Now, we have a Jeff Ruby Steakhouse here in Louisville that I said, well, if it's affiliated with that, it's going to be very expensive.
Okay, see, I don't remember hearing any of this. All I remember saying, don't we have something similar in Louisville, which I hadn't even heard of in Louisville or not. And so I was like, I don't know. And I was like, just make reservations. And he's probably thinking I'm crazy because I have no clue. Yeah. And he says that it was, similar to Ruth Chris. And I don't remember hearing that because that would have told me something. So we ended up going, we made reservations for 6:00. I was concerned about dress code because We brought con clothing. I didn't bring any fancy clothing.
Should have borrowed my polo shirt.
I did. But we ended up being able to go. We made do with what we had. We were probably the least dressed of the entire restaurant. Oh well. And we ended up getting menus, and I was like, Brandy, why didn't you tell me? Which was fine.
But to be fair, it was delicious.
It was absolutely delicious.
It was amazing, but it was amazingly expensive.
That was more of a...
It cost more than our hotel for the night.
No,
yes, it did. Yes, it did.
No, it did not. I paid for both, and I know what they cost.
Okay.
So, no, that was not the case. But it was pretty darn close. Yeah, so it was absolutely delicious. They have this famous mac and cheese that, holy moly, the crust on the top of that mac and cheese was something. It was worthy of the title. I'm gonna just put that out there. And
yeah, I'm not a big runny mac and cheese person. I like dry mac and cheese
because he's weird.
So I took the crust off of that, put it on my steak. And I'm trying to market that as a new meal for them. Because the steak with that crust was incredible.
The thing is like I had blue cheese on my steak. I couldn't mix the two.
Blue cheese nasty.
No, but so that was a little surprise. We did not anticipate that or budget it, but it worked out. It was fun. It was fun.
After that, we were going to play our first game because the night before, somebody decided to turn in at like 6 in the afternoon.
You got to play a game before that.
I got to go play a game after that because I was not going to.
And
turn
it was
in
not at 6 o'clock. It was 8:30, and I was exhausted. So let me be.
So I went and joined some friends that happened to be there and played some games.
Yeah. But so Saturday night, it was the first game that we got to play together. So we go to the event for Four Humors. Now this is the same game designer as
Planet Unknown.
Which
should have been a red flag for me right away.
So,
although I know that's a lot of people love that game. I want to love that game, but you can watch the video of that and see our opinion.
No, it's the base game is really good. It's a lot of fun.
Just don't step over into the variable.
Well, honestly, I just think another developer needs to get a hold of it and fix it. But regardless, so we go to Four Humors, and the guy, bless him, was explaining the rules to us. And I was sitting there and being like, listen, I've played a lot of games, and this did not make any sense to me. And I was like, okay, maybe I'm missing it, and maybe we just need to play it. So me and Randy, there were 3 other people. We sat and we played it. I don't.
Nobody was able to figure it out.
No
it
one.
Didn't make any sense. And
there was a lot
it was an area control thing, but once you got the area filled, then you went to another card that had area on it. But then that wasn't the final destination. There was another scoring card, and that one had the same things. But we ran into a situation where the scoring card would never trigger based upon the figures that were on it. So, and the rules didn't explain any of it. The guy didn't understand it either. And he was like, yeah, this is what we ran into before.
Yeah, I mean, he tried. And he was like, we were the first table that he taught that actually ended up
trying to play it.
And one person got the card and we're like, you won. All right. Because it was a little bit of a disaster.
Yeah. Most people, they just ended up swapping it out for Planet Unknown.
Which was smart because the base game is fantastic, and I do recommend playing the base game for that. And then we ended up going back to the hotel, playing a few games. We're going to do a review of those shortly, so you'll be able to see those, which is the
Dinosaur World.
Or Dinosaur Island.
Roar and Write.
Roar and Write, yeah. Then the following morning, we met up with...
Well, I met up with Hachette Games.
Yes.
You went to go play Great Western Trail.
I did. I got to play Great Western Trail. So exciting. Yeah. So I got to meet some wonderful people, and that was nice. Hopefully we can hang out again.
I made a veiled attempt to try to pick up Cat in the Box. The line was wrapped around the booth before I even got into the floor. I'm not sure how that happened, considering I got there right as it opened, or I got in right as it opened. But the line magically was already there. So
probably vendors.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. But anyway, I ended up going over to meet Hachette Games, and they had 4 new coming soon releases. They had one called Oh Really that is kind of more of it's not really a game so much as an activity. It's more of a conversation starter, kind of like the cards that we use with Sarah to read and
Oh,
ask
yeah.
questions. But in this case, it would give you different question categories, and you were supposed to pick what the least to the most what you felt you liked about them, and then other people would try to basically vote for which one that you liked the most or the least, and kind of explain why.
That sounds really cute. That sounds like a cute party game. That's interesting.
So that, and then they had one that was actually a sci-fi kind of a RP. It's not really an RPG, but it's one of the style of games, kind of like choose your own adventure type. It was Critical Foundation Season 1. And what was interesting about this, the reason they called it Season 1 is it's like a TV series.
Okay.
So there's like 10 episodes in Season 1. And then based on the decisions you make during Season 1, Season 2, when it comes out, will pick up from that point.
Oh, wow.
So that was kind of an interesting idea. The third one they had was Turing Machine. Now, this is a release from the same company that makes, or same people that made Decrypto. So this one looked like a lot like Decrypto because you have a code that you're trying to decipher, but it had a giant grid of like punch card, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And you put the number together in such a way that if somebody asks the question, is the third digit 4, for example, you would put the cards in there based upon the card that they asked the question for, because they have like, is it specifically 4 or is it greater than 4? And you could have different values based upon that you combine the cards with. And whatever the card hole is on, it would say a check mark or an X if they were right or wrong. I kind of felt like it was overly complicated for what it was. I mean, it's basically Decrypto again, but without the words. Now you're just asking questions. But it was a cool system, but it was like this is almost too complicated for what it is. And then the last one they had, I've never heard of this video game, but apparently it was a popular video game. Northgard Uncharted Lands.
I've actually never heard of that one.
Yeah, they're going to have demos of it at Gen Con, and they said they sold out all of the actual events of it.
Well, that's great.
So apparently it's popular. I've not heard of it.
So I mean, what's the game? Is the game
kind
more
of it
adventure?
like, it's like a Viking game, but it looked like there was some area control in it. There was different territories. So they had these areas that you could conquer that were either completed or incomplete and open. And if you took it over, you get resource based upon the area you controlled. So it looked kind of interesting but it's not the kind of game we typically get, but it did look kind of interesting. So those were their 4 upcoming titles they shared.
And then you went to Wise Wizard by yourself again.
Oh.
And we did, so you found out about Hero Realms app, which we immediately downloaded.
Yes.
And I've been playing
we've been
the
playing
last couple of days.
Crazy.
It really reminds me, it does remind me of Star Realms.
Yeah, obviously.
But there's different components that make it different. What I do like about it, is that you advance your character and you actually build your deck. And so then you play with the new deck. So that's actually kind of cool.
As long as you don't do the cage match challenge. Because if you do that, it's kind of like you're risking your character. If you lose, you die. And you've lost all your experience. You start over. There's when you do the matches against players, you can do a challenge. But there's also like I don't know if you got caught cage match or whatever. There's one that's in the middle there when you pick the app, where if you play that one and you play somebody, if you win, you automatically level up. There's no experience. You just immediately level up. If you lose, you die. You start over with a new character.
Well, bummer.
Yeah, it's kind of not for the faint of heart. That's what they said.
Well, I mean, fair enough.
It was that one, and then the one we talked about in our top 5, because this was one we were super excited about, Star Realms Rise of Empire, which is kind of a legacy version of Star Realms that's coming, where you can sticker cards and have them upgraded, or they have replacement cards that you can substitute out that they'll provide. Well, I'm sure they'll charge you for them, but I'll be buying those. Yeah.
Now, then we did end up getting back together, and then we ended up walking a little bit more, and then we ended up going to Weird Giraffe. Now, what's funny is I had walked around that morning right after my game, and I was looking for Randy, and I stopped at their booth, and I actually heard about all the games that they had there already before we stopped by. I ended up actually purchasing some. Purchasing one, and I was like, oh, I need to bring Randy back over here because there's 2 other ones that I thought were a strong maybe on his part. And so we ended up going back there. I mean, the people were they were nice at the, when I met them that morning. They were nice again when we met them
amazing.
Again. They were very wonderful. The one I ended up purchasing was Studies in Sorcery. So it's a little bit reminds me of Harry Potter because I love it. You are a magic student and you are working to do projects. When you complete projects, you gain credits, and credits obviously build your power base to allow you to do other stuff. And then you can eventually graduate, which aka win the game. Now, it was funny because, a week ago, when we were prepping, we talked about how I really was looking for another player development game. And it was like, oh, hello, you just fell into my lap. Congratulations. With a wizard theme that I absolutely love. So this one will be interesting to play is because you have to go dig into graves to get your stuff to perform your magic. So it's not quite Harry Potter, but it's in the fact that you're grave digging. And you could do it without permission to get negative victory points, or you can do it with, anyway. So I'm interested to see that one. So that's one, but the other ones that,
now you're making me want to play Abomination again.
Yeah. So the other one, that one was actually pretty good. We haven't pulled that out in a while. So the other one that they had there was Gift of Tulips, and that one is more of a card placement number strategy game. So that one will be interesting to play. So it's very pretty. It is a very pretty game. So another one that caught our eye it's been released for a while, but they're planning on doing a reprint of it is Stellar Leap. So that one, that caught my eye because again, space theme, so that was along with some other things that I thought, oh, it's great. We didn't get to really go heavy into that one, but it looked super cool. So I was excited about that one. And then the other one, I was like, oh yeah, I saw it that morning and I brought it to your attention because I was like, I think Randy would really like this one. It's called Tumbletown. Mm-hmm. There was only 3 copies left, and they're thinking about reprinting that one as well.
Yeah, but they were going to modify the rules they said there were some things that they discovered that they needed to enhance and make them a little clearer. So, I was a little hesitant to pick it up because I was telling them, we evaluate the rules, so I don't want to grade you harshly if you're going to reevaluate it.
Well, but we'll get to play it. Yeah. Even if we hold off on reviewing it until maybe a little bit later when we maybe get the new rules out. But and there might be some expansion packs with that. So,
but it was the one that I was most interested in because I like the Western theme and it was a puzzle type.
Right, and you take the dice and when you place the dice, you can end up leveling, and so how high your dice are will directly impact scoring and stuff. So there were some interesting mechanics there that I thought really fit what Randy kind of wants to see in games. They also had Fire in the Library,
which we've already got. We haven't reviewed it yet, but we have that one. But they've got an upcoming sequel to Fire in the Library they're working on. They actually have the game finished. It sounds like it's an independent game. I think they're calling it Explosion in the Laboratory. The idea, though, is that it's going to be the laboratory is next to the library, and it's going to be what kicked off the fire that's in the library.
Oh, yeah.
So, but they're trying to come up with kind of a story for the whole thing that's going to tie.
Yeah, they got some ideas. I'm super excited.
I thought that was pretty cool. They're kind of creating this campus world, I guess, where bad things happen, like the library catches fire and the laboratory explodes. The other game, the one that they first showed us, was the jazz game. Yeah, that's a Big Easy Busking.
Yeah, and they said because of not having cons during COVID and stuff like that, it has been released, but hasn't really got an opportunity to really shine.
But it was beautiful colors. It was very vibrant colors.
Very vibrant colors. Definitely had a good feel.
And it has a soundtrack. I went down the soundtrack, but I'm really eager to play it. I definitely have that music playing.
So there are some one-offs that we ended up visiting throughout the time. That obviously most of these were already on our list. One of them, for example, is Distilled. We kind of talked about in our previous video. Another one is 44 BCE.
Their Kickstarter just finished today. Congrats, guys.
Congrats, yeah. So. And then we also got to see Trailblazers. We actually got to demo that. We got to do a full one of that. So again, we kind of talked about that already, so we're super excited about that one.
We got to meet with Ryan Courtney over at the Blinks booth, where he was kind of demoing his new device, like the light up device.
Yeah, I'm not sure how that one's going to work, but hey, more power.
It's if you're into the puzzles and it's got different games you can download.
Yeah, I think
that was kind of a cool concept.
No, it's a cool concept because you can basically you have these different units and they learn the game, and then you can play the game with the different units, and you could add a bunch of units to make the board bigger.
And the LED based, so whenever you touch different ones, they change colors. So I thought
right. So I really wish we could have seen a game played on it, because for me, it seems to be abstract, and with the abstract games, I find it harder to connect with the game, because coming in and not knowing how to play, and you get abstract and it gets kind of difficult. So I really wish that game would have been demoed for us, but we didn't get that opportunity. So I do want to make a small call out as far as kid games at the con, because we do have an 8-year-old daughter. Looking some of those, it's kind of, I keep my eye out because she wants to play games with us all the time, and so finding games that are appropriate for not just her but us as well is, it's kind of a challenge, and it's an exciting challenge. So there's a couple that we did end up purchasing 3 of them. Magic Mountains was one of them. That one was a interesting deck style game where you have marbles, and you roll the marble down. If the marble hits a unit, the unit can move forward. But if you hurry up and put it down again and it hits it again, it can go forward again.
It's almost like a Plinko.
Yeah, it's kind of like a Plinko board, yeah. So that one we ended up purchasing.
They had a giant version of it. I kind of wanted the giant version.
I did kind of want the giant version.
I don't know where we put it, but it was pretty cool.
Oh, it was pretty cool. And then we ended up, Lucky Duck Games, we ended up picking up 2 kids games. One that will be reviewed shortly has been reviewed, which is Yummy
Monster Tummy.
Which is a color palette game.
We reviewed that, Sarah and I, and we'll get that up here shortly.
Yeah, if not already up. And then we also, at the same one, another adventure game by Lucky Duck Games. So that one's out. That one will be coming out shortly. Sarah was super excited we got games for her, and those will probably be reviewed sooner rather than later, because,
she's
kids...
chomping at the bit to do them, because she loves to do reviews with Daddy.
She does. It's your guys' thing. So yeah, you'll see those. So there were a couple of them that caught my eye this go around. I'm excited to see that they're becoming a little bit more of a kids market, specifically, since our daughter's growing up, and I can't wait to expose her to the hobby. And so we already get to do that. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining us. We'll catch you guys later. Bye.
Bye.